Hi, everyone. My name is Rachel Smets from rachelsmets.com, and today I have a wonderful guest, Dave Chesson. Hello, welcome.
Hi, thanks. It's good to be here.
Yeah, glad to have you. Because Dave, who is Dave? Dave is a father and a husband to begin with, and just recently moved from Sri Lanka to Tennessee. Just stepped out of the U.S. Navy and now doing a full-time Kindlepreneur because you're the founder of Kindlepreneur.com. You have lived all around the world as a U.S. Navy and you're passionate about books. You are also an expert in online marketing because that's really how you help also on your blog of Kindlepreneur, a lot of self-publishing authors. You have a lot of knowledge of SEO, website development, KDP, algorithm, and so much more. So you're really a big, big help, and you provide a lot of resources as well. So welcome, welcome, welcome. And what I want to do today, Dave, is have a talk because I published my book, Awaken Your Confidence. 15 people share their journey to success. And I'm really on a mission to empower entrepreneurs, to inspire them, and to let them awaken their confidence, face their fears, have challenges, but face it, take action, and actually exactly what you are doing and what you have been doing. So I definitely want to hear all of that in your story. So let's get to this. Talking about confidence, let's just go back a few years to begin with, Dave. Were you always this confident, or how were you as a child, teenager?
Well, I like to call myself a outgoing introvert. So I wouldn't say I exactly exude confidence in what I do, but I'm confident in the things I do, just not outward. I don't know if that made sense, but yeah, I've always been one who likes to be center stage, but at the same time, I don't like to be a very social person. It's a weird combination. Growing up, though, I think I had my first realization that marketing and, working with businesses and things were in my line when I started my own fraternity. And there, kind of grew it. I realized, man, I kind of like some of these aspects. Later on in the military, I became an engineer because, hey, that feels more in line with me. But I realized I had this passion to be able to, instead of working with machines, be able to work more with people and kind of shoot from the hip. Turns out you don't get to shoot from the hip when you're a nuclear engineer, but we'll just deal with it as it goes.
Yeah, I so hear you. I have the same. I'm working now. I mean, yeah, I come from the corporate world, and I need to be with people, interacting people, helping people. So absolutely, Dave. So talking about what you do now, okay, what are you doing now?
Well, so my main focus is Kindlepreneur.com, the website that you just mentioned. And what's really good about it is that it allows me to kind of use my mathematical nerdiness that I feel more comfortable with, but apply it to a sector, a business that hasn't had a lot of that. And in this case, it's book marketing. So it allows me to be the, algorithm nut that you're talking about and break down these crazy things into something that's much more chewable so that regular authors out there can understand, implement, and then actually see results in their book sales. So it's as we talk about confidence, I think one of the biggest things for myself and my business is that I'm very confident in the subject matter I'm talking about because it's something that's just naturally a part of, I naturally enjoy breaking down an equation, and trying to figure things out. I naturally like to figure out why is it things work this way, experiment and find out, case studies and all that. So when I'm in my lane, it just feels really good and I enjoy it. And when you enjoy the things you do, you exude that and people feed off of it.
Yes, I agree. Okay, in the first way, I do agree with what you say, and I totally recognize that. But there's one thing about, being passionate about something and really enjoy something to making a business of that. That's a huge, step to take. So how did you come up with that decision of, okay, this is going to be, I'm a real entrepreneur, I'm going to make a business of it?
Well, that process was more like 70,000 steps. The whole thing is a marathon in itself. To truly talk about that becoming, it really started about 3.5 years ago. And that 3.5 years ago, even then I wasn't sitting there thinking to myself, hey, I want to start this business. It wasn't even a part of it. it was me just kind of experimenting. I'd heard about this thing where people are making money online. I heard about how you could write and do it, at your own time and make money while you sleep, and it sounded like, yeah, right, whatever, guys. And so I experimented. I was like, wow, this is actually legitimate. These aren't, greasy car salesmen, handling snakes, And then it just kind of grew, and I almost became kind of a little bit of an obsession, just figuring things out. And at one point, we realized that this was actually a viable future. It could become an exit strategy from my 9-to-5 military life, which 9 to 5, let's face it, it's like 24/7, and being deployed all the time. We found that this could be something that I could work towards. So my wife and I, we planned this out. We looked at what life would be like, and we implemented that exit strategy, aka starting this online business. Mm-hmm. And that process was like 2.5 years of building. I think it's wonderful. It's done a lot for myself right now because, as you mentioned, I'm now out of the Navy and doing this full time. I didn't just jump ship, pun somewhat intended in that. Mm-hmm. But instead, though, I had a full detailed plan that I implemented, and it's been such a nice transition.
Wonderful, wonderful to hear, and I'm so happy because in my book as well, I say that I really believe that everybody can awaken their confidence and really build and grow their confidence, but it's not that easy. It's not like, oh, now I'm deciding to go for my dream, jump over the cliff, and that's exactly what I'm trying to say as well, is like, you don't have to be naive. You have to really think about it. And I love what you said that, yes, it took you 70,000 steps, but you're taking it step by step. And it took you said 2.5 years. So yeah. How did you come up with that plan? How did you, because I always talk about, make an action plan and then go step by step. But how did you build it? Did you have help? Did you have a coach? Did you figure it out yourself? How did that process of 2.5 years go?
Well, the most important part to building a plan is knowing exactly what you're trying to achieve, right? You can't build a house unless you have the blueprints that show you what the house is going to look like. Yeah. For me, it was defining exactly what success was. Now, I know that sounds like, well, duh, but, what is it money? Is it just a monetary value? No, is it the lifestyle? Kind of. For me, it was being able to be home and work when I needed to, be with my children, and we had a monetary value in there, so as to pay the bills and live the lifestyle we wanted. Yeah. But when we created that and we had that scope, to define the definition of success, we then knew what we needed to work on. So I knew that I couldn't take on a business that required a brick and mortar, required me to actually have a place that we're always doing business. The second thing was it needed to be something that was very online, that, we could pick up and go. We could go to Thailand and I could still work on it. Yeah. It couldn't require me to have to work during the day because I was still in the Navy. I was doing the Navy thing, during the day and father at night. So it had to be something I could just build over time and didn't require me every day. So when we knew these things, we were able to choose a business structure that was congruent with our plans as a family. And I think that was really important because I knew that as I was building this business, it was the business that would lead me to our definition of success. Mm.
That is so interesting because there is, in my book as well, I talk about success and how success is very subjective. The definition of success is so different for everybody. You can't say, oh, this is success. It's just like happiness. What is happiness? Happiness is something different for you than from somebody else. And the way you define success, it's focused on your family, being online, not stuck to a location, so you can just move around. And so that's very, very true. And I wrote another thing is that it's not just defining what success means to you, but with that definition, knowing what your goal is and where you want to go to. And so I think defining the goal is very hard as well. But once you have that goal, you can make those steps, right? And build up on that. Was it, the definition of the goal and really the defining of your success and goal, you did all of that yourself with your wife, or did you do a lot of research, or did you know what was coming, or did you, how?
That took, I would say, a couple of bottles of wine and my wife. That was us sitting together and really dreaming out what we wanted our life to look like. I'm 33 years old, but I get to be home with her all the time now. I get my children. My favorite thing is that on Fridays, I take my kids to something called Messy Art. And Messy Art is where they go to the toy store and they get to like create really messy paintings and stuff like that. When I go, I'm the only dad there. And it's on a Friday at like 10 a.m. And that's awesome, to me, is to be able to be there. My kids can look at me and see me standing there. And they're just growing from that. So when we were sitting there drinking wine and trying to plan and dream together, these images, these ideas of this type of lifestyle really fit and jive with us. And I'd say to anybody out there listening too, if you have a significant other, it's important to have them a part of it, because nothing will destroy business faster than it being something that your partner cannot get behind. They either don't support the extra work you're putting into it, or they don't agree with the final outcome, or they see the train wreck at the end of the tracks. Okay, those things will hinder even the smartest, most determined, incredible entrepreneur out there. So get them online, or change up your plans so that you're both on the same path together.
Yeah, it's very interesting that you say that, because I'm on the other side. I'm single, and I guess it both has pros and cons, because on one hand, sometimes I miss, like, okay, should I not, what road should I take? Is it smart? Is it not? So sometimes I miss that. Of course, I have good friends to talk to, and that's what I do. But yeah, I guess on the other hand, if I do decide something, it's just me deciding it and me going for it, and I don't have to, take into consideration other people or even kids. So yeah, it just, both has pros and cons. So another topic I want to talk to you about, Dave, is fear. I mean, there must have been times that you think, am I doing this right? Am I doing the right decision? Why am I doing this? Do you recognize that?
Oh, fear is always a part of the equation. You point to any successful entrepreneur, and I assure you their life has been full of fear at some point. Now, the question the differentiation between the successful and the failures are how they dealt with the fear. Okay. Here's a great example of a true story that happened to me. When I first started doing self-publishing, I found this really great niche, and there was little to no competition. I wrote this book, and sure enough, through using my marketing tactics, it was able to crush the competition and rank number one. For the search terms, it got a lot of income. I was making about $2,000 a month every month, and then all of a sudden, Amazon sent me this email that says that there's been a legal letter that's been submitted to us stating that you have copyright infringed on someone's book. And Amazon immediately took down my book, as well as froze my profile. I mean, here I had legal actions. I'm in the military. Like, I've never broken laws. I didn't do anything wrong, but yet a lawyer is coming after me and stating that I have broken the law. I was destroyed. I mean, we're talking like a good week's worth. I lost like a lot of weight because I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I felt terrible. And yet the worst part was I hadn't done anything. Yeah. So I could have just kind of shriveled up and stopped everything. Okay. But I didn't. And as a matter of fact, it took my wife to kind of say, in her very direct manner of, well, if you can't handle this, then you better get out of it. Okay. Man up. I was like, all right, thanks, honey. And I did. I said, okay, well, got it. You know what? I didn't do anything wrong. It looks like I got to tackle this head on. I got a lawyer. I responded back. And sure enough, it was just an empty threat. It was just somebody coming up with something to hope that I would give up, and then they could regain the market. Wow. And immediately they backtracked. They dropped everything because they had absolutely no case. It was unfounded. And for all you Kindle people out there, the self-publishers, just to let you know, it's really easy to file a claim, and Amazon throws you to the wolves. So here I was. I took it head on. I won. But even if I hadn't won, okay, what an amazing learning experience. And right now, I walk with a lot more confidence because I have faced that adversity and I met it head on. Yeah. And I know a lot more about that system, about those risks that are out there because of it. Mm-hmm. I'm a much stronger person And I think that, like I said before, that's the differentiator. It's not whether or not you have fear. Everybody should have some. It's how you face that adversity when it comes at you. That will depict whether or not you were successful or a failure.
Yeah, I'm so happy you take that example. And I heard you tell that story before, so I'm really happy you mentioned everything that you said, because that's exactly the point and the message I want to bring is like, we all face fears. It's just that how you deal with it. You know, do you face it? Do you attack it? And do you overcome it and then grow your confidence? Or do you think, oh no, this is not for me, I'll better step away, and then, you know, you don't take action, you don't face it, and you don't overcome it, but you stay put. And it's by overcoming it and facing it that you really build. And absolutely love what you said, that you learn so much, because that's, if there's one quote in my book that's just my favorite one, is failure is feedback. It may, you know, it's not a failure you had, but it's like all these things, it's feedback, because we learn from it, and then we, you know, we can take more action, do things differently, or just everything in life is just such a learning experience. So I totally love what you said. And I mean, for me, I lived in many countries just like you, and it's like every time, you know, every time I come across something or a challenge, yeah, it's like, okay, you know, I learn from it and I get stronger. So absolutely. And yeah, any other examples you want to share like that you overcame and that you learned from?
Well, you know, another little known story too is that when you talk to a lot of successful online marketers, you always hear or see the successes. A lot of times you don't get to see the failures, you know, the projects they started and they didn't do right. As a matter of fact, it took me 3 projects before I finally found success. Okay. Each time though, I don't consider them failures. I consider them falling forward. Okay. I made a mistake on the first one. So when I did the second one, I didn't make that mistake, but I found a new one. And so when I did the third one, I, again, didn't do what I had done in the other 2, and I finally found success, okay? Now, granted, that third time was more like a $10 or $20 a month profit, but hey, that's awesome, you know? That was such a confidence builder to finally see that there was an upward trend. But that upward trend never would have happened if I had just given up off the first one, said, well, it didn't work for me, and then go try to find some other business structure or try to find something new. Got it. I said, I'm going to take and grow. One thing I like to talk to, especially with a lot of entrepreneurs, is that, you know, we like to pivot, right? You're going on this path. You're learning. You're trying to grow. Say, for example, you want to use Facebook advertisement, okay, to sell your book or to grow your business. What a lot of people will do is they'll learn a little bit, and then they'll try. And when they see that their first attempt doesn't succeed, they pivot to something else, all right? Well, think of a runner who's running on a track, okay, or he's running in a race. Every time you pivot, you change directions, which means you slow your progress down, okay? Now you're going in a completely new direction. It's almost like you started a new race.
Yeah.
A lot of marketers do this over and over and over. And guess what? When you keep pivoting, you're never going to get to the destination you wanted. You're just going to continue to slow things down. Maybe you will finally get there, but man, you just made it a lot harder. So I tell entrepreneurs, look, if you've decided what success is and you know the path, then stick to it and stop pivoting. Just learn, stumble forward, trip forward, whatever it takes, but keep moving forward.
Yeah. Yeah, keep moving forward like a car driving on a highway. You know, you have to keep moving forward and not go backward. And yeah, and that's the determination I think that successful people and entrepreneurs have. You know, it's that determination to just keep on going and going and going and not stop. You know, it's not by sitting down that, yeah, something's going to happen. So yeah, it's facing the challenges, right? That's what you're saying. Yeah, absolutely.
And just not, you know, questioning yourself and always changing directions.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. So finances are definitely, you know, very important, you know, especially as an entrepreneur. You know, I can do a lot of things that I love doing and I love inspiring, but it's not for that it's just bringing income. So when did you start getting some income and how?
Well, so we talked about those 3 projects, right? The third and final project was where I built this niche website that ranked really good for a particular term. So it brought in a lot of traffic, and I put a lot of Google AdSense on it so that there was advertisement, and every time somebody clicked on it, I would get paid a certain amount. So that was really cool because it proved to me that you can create, a viable income stream. And to this day, that same website brings in the same amount of money every month. Now, granted, if I had continued to make that same product, I would still be working for the Navy trying to get up to be able to support my family. But here's the thing, though. I haven't touched that project in over 2.5 years. I mean, if you were to take the accumulation of all that money over the past 2.5 years, that's significant. That's a great asset. So a lot of me, I built assets. I like to have things that earn money passively. In this case, I go to bed, I wake up, I'm still making money from that website 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
But the key, though, is that as I kept creating those assets, it got better and better and better to the point that I get much bigger ROIs. I can take on more competitive things because I know my way around. And one thing that I'll kind of end on with that question, too, is one of the greatest things that one of my captains once said. I was on a submarine, and we're sitting there in the wardroom, which is where the officers do, eat their food and everything. And he says, you guys are junior officers, right? You're new. You're just learning. Now, granted, you're put in leadership positions, but let's face it, you guys are interns, okay? I was like, all right, great. But he's like, that's not the point, though. It's my job right now to make you learn how to be a leader. And then I need to give you the experience of being a leader. And when you combine that knowledge and experience, you will one day gain something called intuition. And intuition is what sets the most successful from the failures. You can intuitively understand that in this situation, I should do this. When I am taking on this challenge, my response should be this. And I think that's really important. So as people are growing in their marketing, growing in their platform, you need the knowledge, then you need the experience. And when you have tuition, you've got it.
Wow. Oh, wow. Beautiful. Yeah, beautiful. Thanks, Dave. Okay. So now in your business, I totally admire you, and I've been reading a lot about, on your blog, and you give away so much information, but I have to admit that even though I keep learning and I will still learning and I want to learn more about it, it is pretty complicated, for me it is, the whole technical parts and the algorithm and the calculations and, to really earn that passive income. So I'm definitely not that far yet, but are you there for people contacting you, and do you have programs to offer, or do you have, do you coach people as well?
Actually, I don't offer coaching, but one thing I do say is that if people contact me on my contact page on kindlepreneur.com, I'm more than happy to answer questions and assist. I've never been opposed to it. And at the same time, too, we get a lot of traffic, so I do my best to make sure to answer all of them. But other than that, though, I like the fact that Kindlepreneur is basically a free website. We have, I like the fact that we are not holding back information. We're not saying, hey, here's how to sell books. Oh, by the way, you got to pay us to get the 20% we didn't talk about. I feel that as though that's important. And one of my biggest keys to online marketing is I like to pay forward. When I first started, it was the people who helped me, that took that extra second or minute or so to give me some pointers to help me. That helped me to succeed. So I'm more than happy to kind of reciprocate, and help out where I can. Yeah,
same with me. I had so many questions, writing my first book and publishing it and self-publishing, and every time I asked a question to somebody and somebody helped me, and now when I get questions, it's like, oh, please let me help you. I'd be honored to. Every experience that I have, why not share it? That's I love that back and forth, helping each other. I love that. So Dave, talking about confidence again, but also about your passion and the way you live the life that you want to live now. Do you have like a daily routine to keep your health and mind in balance, or what are the things, or do you eat healthy? Do you exercise?
The answer would be no. So right now we're in a transition because I just moved from Sri Lanka. I'm out of the Navy. So I'm trying to rebuild kind of my lifestyle in that respect. As you can see from the background, I've been putting together my new office. I just got my reading chair. Yay! And so I like to move around as I'm working, the 8-9 hours a day, here in the office. But yeah, it is on my list of kind of building some type of workout routine as well as eating healthier. Luckily, I have been losing weight, so that is good, but I can't say it was probably from healthy meals. It's more like just coffee and keep going. So
yeah, but you do keep a balance between all the hours in the office and then, like you said, when you go away with your kids, I guess that's your moment of, okay, disconnecting from the office and then just spending that time and totally disconnecting your mind, right?
Oh, amen to that. Yeah, it is super important to be able to take those, little mental breaks and to actually enjoy. Today is my son's birthday, and later today, we're going to take him to the toy store, and we get to spend that time. I don't have to take off work or whatever, but it's important that I remember my goal was to be with my family. My goal was not to be a millionaire or the next Elon Musk or anything like that. Good on him, that guy rocks, but his definition of success is not mine, and it's important that I always remember that and stick with it.
Yeah. Oh, wow, beautiful. And you can see that energy and enthusiasm in you. You're really doing what you want to do and enjoying it too, and that's great. And it shows. It shows the way you act and do and appear. So, Dave, before rounding off, I have some really short questions for you, just for fun, but I like that. It says sometimes something about somebody. So, if you want to choose, just quick short answers, okay? A dog or a cat?
Dog.
Dog. Spicy or mild?
Spicy.
Beach or snow?
Snow.
That took some time. Coffee or tea?
Coffee. Most definitely coffee.
Exercise or watch TV?
Exercise.
No. Wine or beer?
Wine.
Okay. Favorite movie?
Star Wars: Empire Strikes Back.
Salad or pizza?
Oh, pizza. Oh, yeah. Number one.
Cool. I like these little things. Any favorite quote or final words from you, Dave?
I would say, again, kind of reiterate about the pivoting. I think that entrepreneurs are most successful when they've developed one particular skill and they've mastered that one instead of trying to get all these tiny little skills. For me, I became a search engine optimization guy. I love ranking number one in Google as well as Amazon. I don't dabble in this or that. I really built that skill up to the point that it's something really, really special. So if you're out there and you're thinking to yourself, hey, I'd really like to be successful in selling this product, choose one tactic and master it.
Yeah, choose one tactic and master it. I'm going to end with your own words, Dave. And I don't think there's anything more to add. I really enjoyed this, and I enjoy it. That you took the time to do this. Thank you so much, Dave.
No, pleasure was all mine.
Great. Thank you. Where can people find you? I will put all of that below the video, but do you want to share your website maybe or contact?
Yeah, you can find me at kindlepreneur.com and click on the contact page, and that'll, just send me an email. Or I'm also really active on Twitter at Dave Chesson, and hit me up there too. Yeah, Dave Chesson. You can find it all over, and that's how I contacted you, and you answered me right away, so I'm definitely can confirm that. So awesome. Okay, well, that's it for today. Thanks, Dave. Thanks so much.